How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck had that good?
Oh, if a woodchuck had that good.
Chuck.
Well, we should make this this is a new bounce craze, the woodchuck chuck.
The woodchuck.
Wait, you just made that up?
I like the boat. I chuck the chuck. I want the chuck.
Is that a beaver? Is that a woodchuck? A woodchuck.
You already know.
That was really good.
That was good. I actually like that.
You already know. Welcome to the Friend Zone. What's happening, y'all? Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Friend Zone. We are, in case you don't know, your podcast that focuses on mental hygiene and wellness with the focus on hygiene, mental hygiene, that is. Because who in the hell want a musty brain?
we also talk about personal hygiene too, because we're considering doing Friend Zone condoms or something like that. So,
Ooh.
Y'all missed
And everybody's like, what?
y'all missed the conversation we had before the show. So
Yes,
I just
they
want to make
did.
note of that on the air. But as Dustin said, welcome to the Friend Zone. We are here with episode number, I don't know, I just decided I was going to say
It's
that.
episode 10.
Oh, damn, you actually know what episode it
I
is.
do.
It's our anniversary. We've been together for 10 long episodes.
I thought you were about to say 10
Wow.
long years. I thought back, really? Has it been that long already? I just did a blog post on like time flying. I'm journaling now.
Oh, look who came. Look who came.
I'm one public post in and one private post in. So I'm going to start doing it. It's going to like document my personal stuff like weekly. I'm going to talk about my journey to start my business, my journey to be a better friend, like all sorts of shit. So if you want to get into that, I'll give that to you at a later date. I'm not going to give that to you just now because I still haven't put like a proper layout and nothing on it. So
Yeah,
well,
make it
whenever you
cute.
post up,
since I want to
Post
post
up.
up, I just want to let y'all
we'll
know.
be sure to click that link and make it hot.
That's right. Speaking
Yeah.
of making it hot, Fran was showing me outside y'all's appearance on Global Grind.
Ooh, the hilarious that don't know she's hilarious friend.
That shit
I'm
was
so not.
y'all were so good. That shit was really good.
Thank you, friend. It's hilarious, and she doesn't. It's an unassumed, hilariousness.
It's not. Even,
I was just happy that I had a really good hair day.
it,
You
it,
did,
Right?
Fran, you know
That
what?
was a good hair day.
It wasn't even a question. Go check that out so y'all can get that.
Right.
Yeah, that's socially decoded on Global Grind. You can check out their YouTube page for that, so you can know what the hell we're talking about when we go on these random rants, you guys. So thank you for sticking with us through that bull.
That's right. Thank you for being part of the Friend Zone. So we're gonna go on ahead and get into some things. We were talking about some shit going on in the financial arena.
Mm-hmm.
More specifically, what's going on with the Rush card? Russell Simmons is under fire for some shit. What's going on?
He is. Well, I mean, from what I've read online, so it's a prepaid debit card.
Right.
But you can also, there's a feature on it where you can also have your direct deposit, I guess, sent in through the card. I
Okay.
don't really know
Yeah.
how, so
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
like
the exact details.
So instead of it being like an actual like banking card where you just pay like a monthly charge to just have somewhere to have your money, but
right, for people that don't have bank accounts or credit.
it's for the
I
hood.
guess.
Like if you can't get approved for some shit, you
Right.
can just get a Rush card.
Exactly. So unfortunately, they were having some kind of tech upgrade last week, and it created an insane glitch that now people haven't been able to have access to their funds. It's going on.
no.
It's going on day 9,
Oh no!
which is so scary. I was reading Russell Simmons mentions basically because it's been all over, and it's been so scary. Like people talking about they don't have access to their insulin shots. You know, people need their cancer medication. One lady was talking about her lights being off. Someone, like it just like people are in some dire straits.
need
like
their
it's
damn
scary.
money.
Yeah, 9 days.
sucks.
Imagine 9 days
No money.
without your access to your direct deposit, especially for a lot of us that live check to check.
Yep.
So we're gonna talk about finances today, guys.
Well,
Trying
I know
to give
one
tips.
thing. I would be mad as hell if I had a Rush card right now. Like, I would be incensed.
And
with
you know
anger.
what?
Yeah, I
And you
can't
know what?
even
We used
imagine.
to, people clown them Rush cards. Like I'm one of them. Like
I see
know when
why.
look, and you know what? With the baby fat Rush card and all that shit, like it was just so easy. But on the real shit, like I'm one of those people that would need a Rush card or would have needed a Rush card at some point in my
Right.
life because like it's hard to get that direct deposit go into a bank. And, you know, when you're a student, that shit's free. It's like, oh, okay, cool. They're not charging me nothing. But then they charge you that monthly fee. And then if you just didn't, as a black person, I don't feel like we talked about finances enough in my household.
Right.
You know, like
we never did.
We didn't talk about like budgeting. Like, you know, your mom take you to the grocery store, y'all make the grocery list together and y'all get all the groceries. I feel like there should have been that lesson where it's like, all right, now I'm going to teach you about, you know, saving and shit like that. Like, luckily I am an old lady now. And I always look at the deal. Like, I'm always trying to get me some 2 for $5 cereal and shit like that. But like before that, you know, when you live in paycheck to paycheck and you just don't have the credit to have a bank and you're always in the red and you just don't know how to get out of that. That like was me at one point. I didn't feel like I was going to ever have money. And then, you know, that's why I work in the restaurant. I can always have cash on hand. Like every day, if like I could just go broke tomorrow, well, I can go into work tomorrow, make some cash and just have that for some days,
have it
you know?
on hand. Yeah. And I was reading an article, I forget which website it was from, but the title was like how expensive being poor is. And it's so true because it's this constant game of catch up.
Yep.
You know, because you overdrafting this, then you have to pay the fees, you know what I mean? And then
you have to let this go for a month.
Right, then you have to decide groceries, the light, and
Yep.
then whichever one you decide isn't getting paid, then there's the fee for that. And you know, and then it's your credit card debt.
Yep. Am I going to let my credit suffer for
Right.
this while I let this go on? You know?
And then the more you keep maxing out that card, you know, that's knocking points off your credit. I mean, it's like insane. It's so, that's why I was reading the mentions and it was so sad and just helped me keep things in perspective. Because even now, like, luckily I've managed to get my, you know, I always mention I'm from the projects. Like, I didn't have anyone teaching me about budgeting and financing. So now in the financial position that I'm in, where I'm now making a living where I'm comfortable, I'm always nervous about money.
Don't even want to buy nothing.
Nope,
right. And
ever.
it's sad because no matter how big the check or whatever it is, I'm still like, now I'm like a hoarder of money.
Yep.
My mom is the one that is always like, you can't be like that. You can't fear money. You have to create a flow.
You
like
you
spend
hide money
it
from yourself.
I do.
You don't even need to. You just got money hidden. You look in some pants. You're like, where the fuck did this money come from?
And I literally will, you know, no matter what the balance is, I'm just in this consistent flow of like, it needs to stay there. And sometimes I deprive myself of things just because it's that fear of never wanting to go back to not having, you know. And it's sad because no matter how well you do, I wonder if that ever goes away.
Yeah.
Because I was actually, this is really random, but I was watching a Future interview on YouTube where he was saying,
I'm trying to tell you about the relevancy
Oh my God.
of trap music. Go ahead, friend.
I don't even know how I got to him on YouTube.
You needed
Divine
that word.
intervention.
You needed that word. Go
Divine
on.
intervention.
You about to spread the word right now, Future. Go ahead.
Go on, friend.
No, but he was saying that even he, no matter how many millions and thousands and the checks that he gets for the shows and the walkthroughs, he doesn't feel comfortable spending, you know. And how he was saying that's why you don't see him with like all these cars and fancy clothes and all this jewelry. Like he said, he always keeps it at a minimum because he's so fearful of being poor again.
I know that's right. Shit.
You know, and so I don't know, it's so scary. What do you guys think though? Like, how do you, because I'm intrigued, Asante, you just said you would have been someone that may have needed that card.
Yeah.
So what is it that you did to not be in that position?
You know what? I feel like we always work, right? But when we work, what are we working for? And
Right.
so whenever I'm at work, like I always have to think about that. And that's why sometimes I like get unhappy because it's like I'm at work, yeah, I'm making money. This shit gets really hard. What am I working for? So like now that I always have to set these short-term and long-term goals of what I'm working for. Before I didn't have that. Literally, it's just like you got to work. You got to work. You got to work. You got to pay this. You got to pay that. And I just kind of got into this cloud of I need to get rid of this shit. And I'm still paying some shit off now. Like I'm not just like, you know, some
Yeah, me
clear
too.
credit, because I feel like sometimes people will say that they're looking for somebody that's got it all their shit together, right?
Yeah.
And they always say you have to have this, that, and the third. But you know, the truth of the matter is that shit is hard. But one of the things that I really wanted to focus on when I was getting my shit together was just trying to curve how much I was hanging out with other people. And like,
yeah, that's always the
I
first
really-
curve.
yeah, and you know what? Like
And shopping.
a lot of people, you know how sometimes your friends are going through something, you don't know what they're going through. Like I feel like at one point, well, at several different points probably, I was that friend where it's like I was always present, and then there was that period where it's like I was gone, because it's like I had to work, like I had to get these bills paid, and I just see people sometimes get stuck in the mix and they can't keep up, and then they fall farther down.
Yeah.
As opposed to working to not be up tomorrow, but next year be all the way up. So
yeah, and it's hard, especially like living in New York is such a challenge, because I literally will catch myself, no matter how much money I make, it gets depleted so fast, between rent and utilities and the Metro card that you need to get on the
Metro card that goes up every year.
Oh God, and you don't think of that, because you're like, oh, it's $250 a ride, but what is that at the end of the month? What is that at the end of the year? And then there's always everyday life things like getting sick, or having to go to the hospital. Most people don't have health insurance. Going to the doctor is expensive.
Yes.
Like, oh God, I was just telling the guys earlier that I'm going on a trip next month for a charity org to Ghana, and the vaccinations, oh my God, it's like 16 of them, number one, which is scary, and then the cheapest one is $88. So you guys already know, one of 16. The cheapest was $88. So, and then they don't accept medical insurance or health insurance, and so it's of course they don't, because it's a hustle, I'm sure. And that's overwhelming financially. Like, that's a hit that I'm gonna take that I didn't anticipate. And I think that's one of the biggest things, is the hits that people take that you just don't see coming. And are you prepared for it? Because most of us are living check to check.
I think that there's a lot of different factors that come into play, right? I know that on this show we like to talk about how all things are kind of related to your childhood. And sometimes when you wanted to be a kid that had more, or had the popular items, or had, the things that the other kids had and you didn't, when you become an adult and you become financially independent, you then overcompensate for that. And you buy excessively, you spend more money than you should, you buy more than you need. And you just end up making irresponsible financial decisions.
Especially with credit cards.
Yeah, and another one because those are a lot of fun. But another one is discipline. Sometimes you just literally don't have discipline. I know that I struggle with that, because when I like something, I have an insatiable appetite for it.
You just need it.
And I have to have what I want. And so I've been working really hard on that with God's help, and and I'm just trying to curb that desire. But that a lot of times you do end up in financial, shitholes because of not being able to control yourself and control your spending.
Yeah.
On simple things like cool-adas from Dunkin' Donuts, or
which add up.
And they're delicious, $5 a pop. And then I'm gonna tell you something else. The iTunes store.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Yo, and you won't even realize, and then you get that bill.
It's the new Target. It's the new Target. You go in Target for toilet paper and come out $237,000 later. Like, so, and the iTunes store is the same thing. You go in there for one song, and you have downloaded someone's entire discography.
You got 3 albums from the old school.
A movie.
You done pre-ordered some shit.
Pre-ordered every damn thing.
That's me with Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh.
I go to buy a book, and then I have shea butter.
Especially when they tell you that you can have it tomorrow. Amazon is like teleporting shit, I promise you.
Yeah, now they have the app where you can get it a 1-hour delivery.
Yep. If
I'm like missing a hair product, I can just go to the app, and the dude is in my house in an hour.
That's like Amazon is like 2 floors down from you. And
they're
like,
making,
girl, let me go get her.
They're making life worse.
I'm telling you.
So
I pay for that.
But you know what? Not to get too far away, but to the point of like, the internet and that whole thing, taking care of it, like Amazon making things so easy. Like, the rush card was like an easy way for people that either didn't have money or maybe had money tied up in other places to like have a standalone account for some shit, right? So let's say you and the Red and Bank of America, Chase, all that. You could get you a rush card and put X amount of dollars on it and have it for however long before somebody says, hey, you owe me money, I'm gonna take it from you. So knowing that you could either just give your shit away on the internet, like on Amazon, they can just like send it to you instantly, and knowing that you can just instantly have this money and use that shit, it's just making us lazy.
So the rush card is a new mattress. Remember back in the day, people would put the money under the mattress.
Like grandma.
Yeah, the rush card is a new mattress.
Absolutely.
Man.
It was just an easier way to get to some shit, to get to some more shit, to keep up with the Joneses.
So who in the hell got the money? That's what I want to know. Where is the money? Like, what?
Yeah.
How does everybody's money just disappear? What kind of shit is that?
And I read that. And I mean, obviously, I don't know if it's 100% true, but I read that Russell Simmons been actually like cutting checks
I bet
personally, and sending it to people because obviously he has
good
it.
for him.
He can do that. Yeah, but I'm just wondering how long is this gonna last? Because it's day 9. I can't even imagine not having access to my funds for over a week.
Especially like you mentioned earlier for people that need insulin and critical meds like that. That's crazy.
Or even just your bills that were due on the
To get
1st
some
or
gas.
the 15th. Oh, to get some. Oh my
You gotta
goodness,
run
to
to
get some
CVS.
gas. Groceries.
You can't do little shit that you do at your debit
And
card.
9 days is a long time.
Netflix.
You need your Netflix.
Everybody Netflix cut off. People's sex lives getting messed up because of a damn rush card. No Netflix and chill because my rush card don't work.
Oh my god.
And they just went up on Netflix $1 too.
See?
It did.
And guess who ain't got it? Okay. That's
so
a shame, man.
Man,
That rush
that
card,
is a
man.
shame.
I would be very cranky. Okay.
Yeah,
if that happened to me.
But here's my question, because I guess my concern was, what was Russell Simmons' intention with this card? Because on one end, I can see how he was trying to be helpful, because if you are someone who has bad credit and can't just open a bank account, for your checks to go into, or you're in the red and everything,
Right.
it is kind of great that someone's
Right.
offering you a way to have your direct deposit.
And there are plenty of services like that, like net spending and some other shit.
Right, because I saw everyone, how we are on the internet, we're really quick to jump on someone when something goes wrong.
Right.
But I'm someone that likes to see both sides before I form an opinion, and the truth is I don't really know much about the rush card and how it works, so I didn't I can't say that I even have an opinion on it. But I guess the first question that popped in my head was he targeting poor people and kind of using them because of their and because of their position, or was this a good intention that just went wrong? Because the rush card I didn't even know it's been 12 years since it's been up and running.
I just think that it was probably a time where it's a financial thing. It's Russell Simmons. I done dominated this and that, so let me get in the finance era, or that realm. And so I think it was a great idea that he could give back to the hood that had been supporting him and buying all that shit and Kimura and Baby Fat and all that sort of cross brand.
KLS. Remember that KLS line?
You know what's sad? I'm sorry. I'm just going to say this before I continue. Every time I think of Rush Card, I automatically think of the Baby Fat one. Just
because that was the cute one. Everybody wanted the Baby Fat card.
It was so random to me.
Didn't
that
they
I saw
even
this
have
commercial.
Hello Kitty? I remember
it's the only one I can think of. I can't think of a regular generic ass Rush Card. I just think of the Baby Fat one.
They had a Seagram's Rush Card. A Newport Rush Card.
But I just think he was trying to make some money.
A Brown Jail Rush Card.
Shaquille O'Neal Rush Card. Space Jam Rush Card.
A keychain with a bunch of keys on it Rush Card.
The time I got you. The Mariah Carey Charm Bracelet Rush Card.
A nail art Rush Card. A Coach Belt Rush Card.
Stacey Adams Rush Card.
Yeah.
Ty, where are you? Turn their mics off.
Elisa Frank Rush Card.
A Blonde Bangs Rush Card.
An American Girl Rush Card.
A Lashes Rush
Trying
Card.
to cross over to the white people.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Moving back to it.
A Praying Hands Tattoo Rush Card.
A Praying Grandmother Rush Card.
Okay, wait. Okay, here. What? I don't even know how to segue
you trying
out
so
of
hard.
this.
I know, friend.
I'm trying to pull us out the water right now.
Way
in the water.
I said,
Wade in the water.
You sound hungry.
In the water. I am hungry.
I'm
not hungry. I'm
keep
hungry.
You in the water.
Back to it.
Here's my question for y'all.
I was so poor, speaking of hungry, that we used to eat Hamburger Helper.
That's a poor thing?
People like dogged Hamburger Helper out.
Oh,
and
I know people
they
that
said
still
it was
eat
a poor
that
thing.
and aren't poor.
You put a little Lorry's on that
I'm
cheeseburger
not
macaroni.
Listen, we had there was a taco enchilada
With some Ritz
one.
crackers. Yeah. Oh, shit.
He said some Ritz crackers.
I don't give a damn. I just started reading it on Twitter one day and I was like, I like that shit.
Right. Offended? Yes.
Moved? Not.
Okay, here's my question to you. Asante, how do you, if you keep doing, how do you stay balanced financially? What are the things that keep you afloat?
You know what?
When you're being good, what's Asante
I'm
being good?
Mm-hmm. What is that? What is Asante being good?
Yeah.
I'd like you to answer that question for me first.
Because you haven't found him?
I found him today. You gonna get me in trouble, friend. You know what? It entails, as long as the rent is paid and the bills are paid, like I'm in the red in certain aspects, and I have no shame in saying that, just because
It's real.
like,
Who isn't?
yeah,
though?
but I feel like there's like this big facade. You know what? Lauryn Hill, she brings it all back. People always pretending that they like got shit better than what it was. So I always am just really upfront about some shit. Anyway, I'm in the red about some shit that's like not even affecting me directly, right? So to stay afloat and what keeps me good is when I know that I have paid my bills and I am like not being like, my phone is not ringing with some numbers that I don't know outside of those numbers
right.
that I have labeled. Now when those people are calling me and it's just them, I'm good. I'm great. Okay. I can go to DC for the weekend as I was this past weekend.
Right.
I could do certain things. I can move. Okay.
So your priorities are bills, regardless, no matter what.
For now, I'm actually. Oh, you know what? I'm glad that you asked that, because the book that I'm reading is about how you can turn a business out of happy and quality and freedom into your career, and how most businesses that were independent started off of an idea or just people hustling.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that I have these creative ideas and I can hustle, like put them together, I can just make a career being my damn self. Like look at the formula with Fury and Crystals, right? The Read, dope ass podcast, two people talking all the shit in the world. A bunch of people rode behind that because they love that shit. Because we all talking shit. They saying the shit that we want to say.
Right.
Look at people listening to our podcast. If enough people decide to say, wake up and say, you know what, I'm tired of doing this bullshit. I want to change. We're voices that are out there that people see that they can do better,
Mm-hmm.
or that were perspective. I feel like when I grew up, there were like black people on like BET and UPN. And like the niggas that I knew, you know what I'm saying? For real. There wasn't like a spectrum of people, you know?
That's so real.
For real. Like we had like Living Single.
He
we
said
had
UPN.
yeah. Homeboys in Outer
Oh,
Space. No,
shit.
that's too far back. Y'all not ready.
I remember that.
I told you, 1-on-1, all that
Yeah.
shit. The Hughleys.
Half
like,
and half.
yeah, we had those few shows, and that was cool. We had one network outside of BET that I really felt like was looking out for us, and Living Single on the side, Martin on the side, but there wasn't like just regular black people. Like now we got Olivia Pope, even though people want to make them out to be a hoe or whatever, it's like there's a regular black woman that works in the White House on TV, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you can turn on your TV and see people that aren't like fighting each other and dragging each other by the hair, the fact that you can listen out for podcasts where there's us, just talking about our lives, or even I found a business podcast with two black women talking about being entrepreneurs and raising their families, and I thought,
Really?
this is dope as fuck. I'm gonna name it when I can
you
remember.
remember.
Actually, I should put it on my blog. I'll put that podcast on my blog tonight, and I'll put the podcast I talked about and how you start your morning.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And actually, for those of you that are looking for tips from entrepreneurs, and as a black woman entrepreneur, my leak, Teal, the creator of Curlbox, which is like an incredible subscription box service. Yeah, she created it from scratch. She's like so successful. She just bought her first house. She's like her second year of the subscription service and is doing extremely well.
Go on, girl.
Yeah, she started a podcast. You can find it on iTunes. I think it's just My Leak. I'm not sure. Like, I think it's just her name, the podcast. You can go on her Instagram, My Leak Teal. Teal is Teele. And she gives incredible advice.
Can you spell My Leak?
My Leak is MYLEIK. Right. So I'll probably just write this at the bottom of the SoundCloud link. It'll probably be easier for you guys to click it. But she gives incredible financial advice because she's done really well. She basically has all her, ducks in a row, and just gives awesome advice on how to get your life, going financially, especially how to get out of the red, how to start building, how to create a life based on things that make you happy.
That's
and
what's
not,
up. I'm gonna listen to that.
Yeah, you really should. And I really think that everyone should listen to it. And she's very blunt and to the point. She has a lot of awesome advice as far as books to read and connections and networking, places you can go. Like, she's awesome. And I think, that's the type of content that should be more readily accessible to us. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So Dustin, what about you? What's good Dustin on the financial tip?
Good Dustin is going to the grocery store instead of going to restaurants every damn night.
That is so true.
Real.
Good Dustin is staying home instead of going out, always doing something, always going to bars and socializing and,
Mm-hmm.
Good Dustin is staying out of the iTunes store, off
Oh
of
my
Amazon,
God, the iTunes.
But you
out
know
of
what?
Nike.com.
The iTunes, you should just go ahead and get the Apple Music service.
Well,
Save
I
your-
was going to, but my homegirl, when she subscribed, it deleted like all her music off her iTunes, and so I was like, oh no, not my curated iTunes. I don't think so.
Yeah,
so.
no, that didn't.
So no.
Mm-mm.
What else is Good Dustin? Good Dustin is what bad habits do I have? Just entertainment. I spend a lot of money on entertainment, and because I have to network professionally, I spend a lot of money at restaurants, bars, things like that.
Yep.
This is New York City, and unfortunately,
Everyone
you
wants
have
to
to
meet
move.
everyone meets
at
at
a
a bar, at a
restaurant.
restaurant.
So true.
That's what you do, and so and because my days are so busy, I could definitely save money by like doing meal prep, things like that, But I don't, because I like buying stuff. I like the
Right.
process. I like the way it feels to get, rang up at the register. I like all that. And so I do it a
like
lot. I
all
go
that.
get shakes and malts and shit. Like just, have a little midday ice cream, or whatever. You just go get something. I like treats and stuff. So that's bad.
But that
Dustin.
all
No,
adds up.
That's
Yeah.
really, it does.
And another problem I have, I like to pay for people when we do stuff.
That, you know what? That's
Yeah.
my biggest problem.
Y'all both
Even
love to do that.
oh my
and I love
God.
y'all for it.
even when it's crazy, because even when someone invites me,
Yeah,
or
I
if
do
it's
feel like
right, or even if it's a meeting,
Fran paid for.
I can't help
Fran
it.
tried to fight my parents over buying us lunch
I
when we were in
did,
Atlanta.
and your mom was like, "No."
Like my mom was like, "You brought my son to Atlanta. Like, at least I could do was buy you a damn."
Right,
whatever
but
you
I don't
had.
know where that comes from, but I just always feel this need. I guess it's just the nurturer in me. I just want to be like,
it's
no,
the
I
guy
got
thing
it.
in me. It's the guy. It's some alpha complex or whatever the hell it is.
True.
That's what that is. Then another thing I do is overtip, and I know that because I'm
I've started to
I'm so
overtip because of
petrified because of
Asante.
the
Yeah, we
stigma
love y'all
and
for
all of
it.
that. I hate that. I don't ever want to be perceived as the cheap black guy that didn't tip.
Right.
I hate that. So I don't know. I just like that kind of stuff, and I enjoy like nice stuff. I enjoy like ambiance, and I enjoy like
That's my
details,
weakness.
and I like that. I like going to I just like nice restaurants. I love to travel. I love to just enjoy myself. I like activities, so I need to have disposable income. I
Right.
do.
Yep.
And so because I have that need, I have to structure my money a certain way so that I have the freedom to do some of the things that I want to do, because if not, I'm not a happy guy. When
Right.
I can't have some of the things that I want, I'm literally like not a happy person.
So how do you balance it so that you
And-
can have that?
I'm gonna tell you this too. This is relevant though. The reason that I'm not happy when I want the stuff is not because I have this insatiable desire to like have things. It's just because I'm beating myself up for not being in a position
To
to
have
have
them.
what I want.
Right.
That's where I feel the anxiety. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
not because of like selfishness. It's because damn, you couldn't even get it and you want it.
Right. Do
You
you guys
should've been
do you
there.
guys ever feel pressure from the people around you and the things that they
No.
may have, like as far as like apartments and cars and
Whenever,
clothes,
whenever
and trips?
I actually look at everything that my friends do as inspiration. Like when my friends,
That's true.
when Fury showed up with a damn Skywalker board thing, I wanted to cry, not because I wanted one, but because like I just know that my friends are so blessed that they can get this and do this, that I know that I'm next. Like I'm just like this is exactly what I'm working towards. So like it always just looks like this is tangible. Like this is something that I could have if I just go out there and get it.
Yeah, and they always say, there's this saying which I totally believe, that the 5 people you're closest to say a lot about where you're going in life.
Mm-hmm.
And the 5 people I'm closest to are all multimillionaires, so that's like the very, very good feeling. Because I'm like,
you're in good company.
right,
so,
if
absolutely.
if that rings true, then Lord,
And you know what? You know what's crazy? I hate to do like a plug, friend, but I want to start a consulting business, right?
Right.
And so one of the ideas that I have, maybe not tomorrow, but if y'all want to connect with me, reach out either through the show's email or wherever you see me. But I'm going to start with businesses, people that want to start their own businesses, because I feel like, especially as a black community, it's important for us to help each other out. So if I'm going to start
Absolutely.
my business, I want to help some people for free, and maybe in turn they can refer me and we can get some money together. But I want it all to be black people really trying to move forward, because the reason that we're talking about this rush car fiasco is because black people aren't in a position to where they can get this money and do certain things, and they weren't taught to finance, or they watch these videos and they see all these extravagant things, they don't know how to get to them. So all the secrets that I'm learning and unlocking, I want to share with you all for real.
No, and that's so important because this episode was in no way to knock Russell Simmons. Like,
No,
because
not
we don't
at all.
we don't even know what happened. We don't know his intentions, but what we do know is that there are a lot of people that are asked out right now, and we're trying to figure out why does that happen, and why is it that everyone that's asked out was poor and everyone was black.
And I feel so bad for those people because I just know how angry I would be. And
Yeah.
I know what that fire feels like. So I just feel so bad. And I hope that they get their money twice over because that was some straight up bullshit.
Absolutely.
For
Yeah,
real.
that's so scary. But for me, when I'm being good friend, that like Dustin is not eating out because that's my weakness. Like, you know, in New York, being a young business person, everyone wants to meet for coffee. Everyone wants to meet for food.
I bet everybody thinks you're so rich because you make everything your damn self. Like, Fran don't ever go to Target. She always probably
don't
sit
have
up
a
in
lot
her
of
room
overhead. You know what I mean?
she could just make it if she wanted.
That's so funny. No, well, what's funny is though that because of my brand, I have family members and friends that think I'm way wealthier than I actually am, you know,
Yeah.
and because I have my apartment and I don't have roommates, which in New York is a big deal.
Okay.
Right. So I'm thankful that I'm able to stay afloat that way, but I still have insane medical debt from when I was sick. I'm still paying off my college loans, which will probably be for the next 12 years. Then, of course, I think everyone has their story where, you know, they were 16, 17 with a credit card. Or college, when they get you when you first get to college. They're like,
Capital One ass.
right, sign up for this and you can get a freaking Walkman.
Free Chick-fil-A if you sign up
Right.
for this bank account.
Right, or you get an iPhone and then you're over here just swiping away, not thinking it's free money. You know what I mean? And I definitely fell victim to that because I wasn't taught properly. You know, I will appreciate that my mom did get me my first bank account at 15, which was awesome. But, you know, because she wasn't in a amazing financial position, there was but so much she could hand down to me and teach me, you know what I mean? So, but I think for tips for me, like definitely eating out less, the online shopping, like that just has to go. You know, like I know when to tell myself, like nastygal.com. I know a lot of people love that, even though it sounds like a porn site, but it's not. I remember my mom when I was younger was like, "What is this bill?" I was like, "It's not what you think."
I seen girls sick.
You know, but yeah, the online shopping, cutting that down, and what else? I'm trying to think of definitely eating out and even groceries though, because I eat healthy.
Oh, that's expensive.
Right, and going to Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, you buy 5 or 6 things, and when they ring you up, it's like $250. So you're like, what is this? You know, so and Target always gets you. You go in for lotion and come out with a body pillow and
a 638 roll pack of toilet paper. Like, God damn.
Some CDs. You ain't even got a CD player no more. Buy some damn CDs and shit.
But I think it's about being mindful and prioritizing. You know, for me, I just want one of my biggest things is traveling, is being able to travel. That's something that's important to me. It's important to my mental health and just how I feel overall. And in order to be able to do that, that's when I have to cut out, you know, all of those.
Yep.
Like those little purchases
and
that add up at the end of the month.
Even when I travel, like I will do my best to like be really cheap about things. Like I'm making sure I just have water with me on the way to the airport. I'm making sure that I can do my best to just have like a carry on and not a check luggage.
Oh,
and
right. Even those little expenses,
Yo.
25 here, 25 there.
And then some airlines charge you for overhead.
Yeah.
Which I didn't learn until recently.
Now wait a damn minute.
Oh.
You mean you can't put your bag in the thing over your head?
But
without
you know
paying?
What? But you know what? it just goes to show people have found all these different ways to make money off your ass. Like they figured out a way. Like,
because what else we gonna do?
We can sell this space under here. We can sell this space up here. And it's like black people, we need to think about all these different ways that we can be making money and then helping each other do it. And I think that's a big problem. Like, you know, Russell Simmons came out with this rush card idea, and this is dope. But I don't think anybody did any like follow up like, black programs
and
for financial things
and that
stuff
right
like that.
there, you hit it right on the nail.
Yeah.
Because that was just a shortcut.
Yep.
You know, that's no different
was
than
half
what.
Band-Aid.
Right, it was a Band-Aid, but there wasn't anyone to be like, okay, but why are you in this position where you can't have a bank account or a credit card? Like, why is your credit in the red?
Or what can we do to get it out?
Yep.
Right. And
We
a
have
lot
place
of
for you to keep your money. How are you going to maximize it and use it the best? So
right, and I also think one important point is, you know, we get shoved this American dream of like owning a house and owning a car, and those pressures are so real. And you know, the reality is I've never wanted to own a house or a car. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but it's just not my goals. You want to own a building?
Hell yeah, I for real. Like, I'm talking really big right
like,
now.
I want investments.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, like I want
own
a supermarket in Harlem. Yeah, like I want to own a beauty supply that caters to us. Like, owned by us.
One day, what are we going to name our neighborhood?
You know, like I want actual, like, what neighborhood? Well, you know, I'm gonna say Harlem. Come on. I said,
what we gonna name? But you know, Harlem's not gonna be called Harlem forever. You know, we
North
already got
Manhattan.
all these different sub communities. So what we gonna name ours when we done bought up the neighborhood?
I don't know. We got
No man.
No man.
Soho. No ho.
No ho.
No man.
No, but that was a great point though about. There was no follow up.
Right.
And you know
and
what?
That's
maybe
the problem.
And maybe there was. Like, maybe on the site there was like something somebody can click, or maybe y'all sent out a flyer or something. But like, it would just be dope. And hopefully one of you guys out there is sparked by something. Maybe you could start like an after school program and geared towards some black kids, and, you know, teaching them finance or just something for our community. And I hate to just be super black and say F all the white listeners or whatever, because, you know, y'all are dope too. I like y'all.
I like y'all.
But as far as my community is concerned, like, I just know that I see these things happening and I'm just like, this is so fucked up. And I want to be able to do something about it one day, which is why I'm looking to start this business. Outside of me just thinking it's a really good idea. And I won't tell y'all pardon me. Ooh, that was a wet one.
I didn't know if that was a laugh or a burp.
It was just a little air bubble caught. Anyway, I just want it to be a situation where I'm happy doing something that I want to do, and I can spread that gospel to other people to be happy doing what they want to do, and everybody can make some money and, you know, get out of their ruts.
Yeah.
And I can pay for my damn overhead luggage, and I can pay for my check bags
and
shit.
And I always think of that, like, when my finances are really good, I always tell myself, like, God, this is such a freeing feeling where I can go buy what I want.
Yep.
You know, whatever I need, whether it's a light bulb that's out or whatever, from the littlest things to the biggest things.
Or
I
a
can
fur coat. Whether it's a light bulb or a fur coat, I can get it.
Okay.
I could.
See, and you know what? For me, like, when I'm doing really good, you know what? That's how I should simply answer the question. Like, I'm doing okay when I can go into H&M, right? I'm doing really good when I can go into Topshop.
Oh,
like
real.
Remember on Atlanta Housewives when Candy was like, when they were accusing Candy of being like a quote unquote sugar mama, and she was like, and mind you, I don't care if I wanted to take care of every MF in here. I could.
Yep, she did. She did. I remember that shit. I remember thinking, boss.
Okay.
Well, then let's slide into the wellness segment. Now, I said, here's the thing. I said last week that we were going to go into the beauty and health questions, but I can't help it. I think this is such an important conversation. So I think something that we should do, if you do have a rush card, because I know some of you listening may have one, I'm sure you guys get statements at the end of the month. Look at your spending habits to see how you can get in a position where you no longer need to be on a rush card. You know, like, how do we get you out of that position? Because we don't know what the intentions were, but we do know is that you got there because of something with your spending habits that did not work to your advantage. And even those of us with bank accounts and credit cards, what are your spending habits? And are you, because I know for me, sometimes I'll look at my bank account or my bank statement at the end of the month, and that's when it hits me where I'm like, dude.
I done bought $684
right.
worth of Dunkin' Damn
And you know
Donuts.
a lot of people do? They won't even look at their statements because sometimes it's easier to avoid it.
That's what I'm doing now.
No, seriously.
That's what I'm doing.
I used to do that for years. I wouldn't even open the envelope because I knew that it was nothing good for me to see.
Well, no, you know what? Before I say that, like, what I'm doing now is because I am, like, out of the red in certain parts, and I'm, like, putting money in the bank. I'm like, well, now that I can just pay these bills and know that it's going to get paid, like, I don't have to look in here. I'm going to just keep putting money in there and, like, you know, say hallelujah when it's, like, in six figures. I don't know.
Right. No,
but you know what? I think it also has to be said that it's going to be hard for some people to do that, because what if they've been cutting corners and that's why they have this rush card, right?
Right.
So like I'm already getting my hamburger helper 2 for $5, or 4 for $5, whatever it was, and I don't make enough money to get out of the red.
Right.
Like, how do I curb my spending then?
Right. That's the tricky part, because
It's all got to be strategy, huh? You have to look at like your needs versus your wants and look at what you've been spending.
You know what? I'm gonna answer my own question. It's October. It's it's holiday time. So for those of you that need a second job, or for those of you in school that are looking for something seasonal, check into restaurants. They're hiring for staff in various restaurants, more than likely. Check into retail. Like, these are all just little quick fixes for people that just need another job and are thinking like, oh, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I have a degree, blah, blah, blah. I've met so many interesting people that have worked regular ass jobs. Like, I've worked with 45-year-old women with 2 degrees that have worked in Old Navy and shit. When I was 15, 16. So, like, whatever you have to do to hustle, do that to get yourself out of the red, because it's only you that's going to be able to do it. Once you realize that, you're going to do everything you can to get up out of there.
Right.
So.
That's actually really good advice. And then, for those of you who may not be in the red, but things are just super tight, like, all of us are guilty of spending where we shouldn't be spending,
Always.
And I think it's time to open those envelopes and those bank statements and just make it a habit to actually go through them to see, like, what are your priorities? Because where attention goes, energy flows. So
Okay.
It's a big thing, you know what I mean? And
Okay. Now you're cooking with coconut oil, okay?
Oh my God. No, seriously, you guys, are so important. Like, you guys know I'm an energy person. And one of the things that I know is what allowed me to become more abundant and coming from the projects to where I am now is that I knew the kind of life I wanted. So I focused my energy on that, even if that meant having to do internships that didn't pay, aside from the job I was doing that I wasn't happy at, and those late hours and those hustle modes and grinding and maybe only, having 3 hours of sleep because I just was taking on so much. But it was like such an important sacrifice because I knew that this is the kind of life I want, so I have to do this. I know it's a little bit harder. There are people with kids, you can't just jump out and have a full day of all these extracurricular activities, like, I know it's hard. I don't have kids, so I can't give advice to those who do. So I would never try, to take that position. But I know for me and the people in my position that are coming from the hood, that's what I did. I just made sure to just take on as much as possible in the fields that I was interested in, face value, put in that time, and then just like I said, where attention goes, energy flows. And that is basically how I even do with my bank statements. I look through them like, okay, if I want this kind of life, then all this little shit gotta go.
Right.
All this little spending gotta go. I don't even try to dress cool anymore or keep up with anyone. I go thrifting. And thrifting is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, because most stores are based on trends and what's hot now, and you keeping up with what celebrities wearing what, and now you're wearing the knockoff version at whatever store. I don't really play that anymore. I go to my thrift stores. The funny thing is I go to events and people always like, Fran, your style is so dope. And I'm like, girl, I paid like $20 for this whole outfit. Like, and I feel comfortable. I've never felt bad about that. So little things like that I know we all want to look cute still. It doesn't mean that you're going to go out here and just, stop buying clothes, especially when you're from the hood. For whatever reason, it's such a pressure to look cute all the time.
Niggas from the hood, both
clean
sexes from
sneakers,
the hood, fresh haircut,
right?
Every week,
like all that matters. So definitely, thrifting. I mean, that's one of my biggest tips. And then even for eating healthy, Dustin hit it on the nail when he said meal planning. Like, that's one of the most helpful tips, because one of the hardest parts that will get you to order food is when you come home starving and you do not want to stand in front of a stove
and cook some shit,
right?
Or even go back outside to go get it. Like, it's just seamless.
And you go on Seamless and Grubhub, and before you knew it, you do it 3 or 4 times in 1 week because you're just lazy and tired. So meal planning is like such an awesome and helpful tip. I actually think that was a great suggestion.
That's gonna be my long-term goal.
Yeah.
Like, the particular situation that I'm in, like, I like have roommates and all that shit. But like, once I like have moved out on my own, that's why I always say my fitness and my lifestyle is a process. Like, once I've moved out on my own, I'm gonna meal plan. I'm a meal plan for my bae too. If they're looking for that,
No.
that's gonna be like one of the things that I do every week. Like,
And you know
it's
what?
meal prep day.
Even for those who need to work out, and because I know it's getting cold out, not everyone has money for gym memberships. Sometimes they're expensive, and even Planet Fitness, not everyone has $20 a month to go towards a membership.
Especially if you ain't got no shade, if you ain't got no bank account to do that shit from.
Right, for it to come and
that's why I
be
always told
taken
people
out of.
that I couldn't go to the gym. They wanted X amount of dollars from me every month.
Every
if I didn't have
month,
it on
that's
that
a lot of
particular
pressure.
day?
No,
Yeah.
that's so true. That's a lot of
That's
pressure.
another bill.
That is another bill.
When you're dealing with bills that are like $50 to $100 to $200 plus, and then you got to worry
trying
about
to
these
cut
$20.
corners.
Yep.
Yeah, one
Bye.
thing that I suggest that has helped me a lot, like especially when I couldn't afford gym memberships, is just buy a medicine ball, buy a kettlebell, and buy a jump rope. And then just go on YouTube and look at core workouts. A jump rope is amazing for maintaining your weight. One of my favorite tips is to pick your favorite song, make sure it's super hyped, and turn it on and try to jump rope for the entirety of the song.
And don't look at the time.
Right. Most songs are like 3 to 4 minutes, and that's a 3 to 4 minute workout that will have you dripping. I'm telling you, it sounds a lot easier than it is, but not stopping the jump rope for 3 to 4 minutes is extremely challenging.
Yeah, that sounds.
And that's a
like
lot of how I've been able to maintain my weight. And it's such an easy concept, and it is mind blowing how well it works. It works better than me running outside in the park. I've noticed that I've maintained my weight way better with it.
Jumping rope is how you stay so fine.
Yeah. So that's a tip,
Noted.
and kettlebell, like, is great for your arms and your core. And then the medicine ball, you can do a lot of stuff for your back to rip your back up. Like, I'm telling you. And of course, what's the ball? It's not coming to me right now.
The one that you can do like sit-ups and stuff.
Right.
On. The inflatable.
The inflatable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the name's not coming to me right now. But, just build your home gym. And Amazon has so many great prices. YouTube is a free resource. So many workouts. I love, there's a girl named Kai Wheeler, Kai I was gonna say double H WHEELER. She's sick on YouTube. Even Venus Williams. Did you guys know she has a YouTube channel with all of her tennis workouts?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, her circuit training, her core workouts. Like, it's free.
That's the one to look at.
Yeah, Venus.
Also look at Fitness Blender. That's what I was using.
Fitness Blender. There's one called Daily Burn. There's Be Fit. There's Blogilates. If you love yoga, there's Yoga with Adrienne. She spells it ADRIENE. These are all free resources. And last time we mentioned Swerk It, which a lot of people hit me up saying they've been using it, and that made me happy because it's such a great app. So, those are just some quick tips, especially on the fitness end. And then you got the meal planning, and then
I highly suggest Fitness Blender, though. Like, if you don't have equipment or anything in your house and you're just looking for something to do, they have like all sorts of shit. Like, if you just want to do a beginner, if you have like 8 minutes of abs, they have all sorts of stuff.
And the
on there.
Nike app too. Nike training is sick. NTC.
Yeah,
definitely look that up.
Which sucks because the Fuel Band sucks. Everybody that I've talked to talks about how the Nike Fuel Band sucks, so I don't even want to download their app.
Oh yeah, but you don't need the Fuel Band. You could just do the app.
But if it just kind of like ties together.
But those are our wellness tips for this week, and hopefully you find them helpful. And then next week we'll jump back to a beauty tip. But I just felt inspired because of this conversation, because I know finance is a very, very touchy subject that we can pretty much all relate to. So
we low-key gave 2 like wellness tips because we suggested some exercise stuff.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's just holistic living. It's well-rounded.
So they got a bonus this week.
Right. So now let's jump into the icebreakers.
Icebreakers. I always want to say like lifesavers. You ever seen that lifesavers commercial? Like lifesavers. So I want to say icebreakers. Anyway, I have a couple of them. This one is: do you guys have any tattoos? If yes, what are they and why did you get them? If no, why not?
Justin.
We ain't heard from you. Tell us about your tats.
I have a lot of
tat it up.
I have several tattoos that I now wish looked a little different than they do, but it's all good. I waited until I was like 25 to get my first tattoo. So I was over the hill when I got my first one. But
over the hill.
I don't. Yeah, I have a lot of tattoos. I love them. I want more. I think I'm more into like artistic, like beautiful tattoos versus like something meaningful, which probably doesn't make sense. It's probably like super shallow, but I just think the artistic expression of it is just like amazing. So I'm looking at ways to modify my existing tattoos while adding to them like in a tasteful way. So
that's dope.
yeah, since my look is already like kind of aggressive and
I like your chest tattoo.
Thank you. I'm interested in getting some things that are more calming to look at and more like serene. So
you can get some flowers,
maybe some greenery. Yeah, some things
some
like that.
Some chakras.
So yes, we do have tattoos. Yeah,
no, for real.
Some chakras down your spine.
Yeah.
That's actually really cute. Noted.
Yeah, you should do that. Do you have any tattoos?
I don't have any tattoos. I'm more of a piercer. Yeah.
How many piercings do you have?
I think I have 7. I have my nose, I have my belly, and then I have the rest are in my ears. So I'm not too adventurous. I wanted to get the septum years ago, but now everyone has it, and I kind of feel like I don't want to be a Tumblr girl. But I really love the septum piercing. I just wouldn't do the big, like, the big bull one.
The salt and pepper earring hanging out the bottom,
I don't know. I don't think that would fit my look. So I don't know if I go that way, but I might still do it. I'll just but I'm a simple person. Like, I love
your nose ring.
Thank you. I've had it. I got it when I was 15, so
really?
I've had it for a long
it fits you.
time.
I would be so
really
weirded
cute.
out if I saw you without it. Like,
right? Yeah. I mean, it's almost going on 14 years since I've had it. It's kind of crazy. But I want to get the septum, but I'll probably just get like a little cute little ring. You probably won't even really be able to see it unless you're like up close. I like dainty stuff. Yeah, but I'm more of a piercer. I don't have any tattoos, and I don't really know that I would get any. Not for any particular reason, but I think because I don't have any at this point, it's just kind of like.
Did you ever want tattoos?
No, because I'm pretty moody. So I know that anything I got, I'd be over it.
Yeah.
Like by the next year. I've evolved so much. Like I probably would have gotten the paw prints like Eve back in the day, and then now been pissed at myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then now I'd want a Buddha or a loaded.
Yeah.
Like I just evolved too much. I go through so many chapters of life that I know for a fact that I would not like what I get.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't have any tattoos, but I do plan on at some point in my life getting some. Like I've always wanted to do, like initially I wanted like my forearms to say shit, and then I just wanted my wrist to say shit.
Yeah, everybody had the wrist phase. I wanted the wrist one.
And so once I realized that, I was like, no, I don't do my wrist no more.
I wanted to get the word breathe on my wrist.
I still think about getting a sleeve, but like that's going to be like one day down the road. Like if I've completely transformed who I am. Like after I've quit my job, I want to just be a completely different person. And like,
well, that's what I'm getting next.
A sleeve?
I think sleeves are awesome. I remember thinking that it'd be dope to just have a sleeve and no tats anywhere else. Like just one sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right?
It's sexy.
I think that's cool as hell. But I just don't have the pain tolerance either. I cried when I got my nose pierced. I can't imagine sitting in a tattoo spot with that needle
on your chest. Like no,
on my little bitties.
Oh my god, I would die if I just
like whipped out
right
my
now,
paw prints.
I would die. I would fall right here on this carpet. Let's move on away from these tattoos and go to something a little less permanent. We're going to the asking for a friend segment.
Yay.
Let's see where to start tonight. Okay, so this one here, your podcast entitled Surrender really spoke to me. Currently, I have been having trouble in making a very important decision and being at peace with it. I'm in a PhD program and I recently did an internship in industry. I found what I do and what I don't want in the lab. I found what I do and what I don't need. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. I have found what I want to do and I don't need a PhD to do it. I found that doing the research in the lab is just too disconnected for me. I liked work I did during the internship, being closer to the actual medical patients, and I've been very unhappy with my research project, and it suffered as a result. I don't recognize myself anymore, and I have been to counseling to deal with my emotions also. It's probably going to take me at least another 3 years, if that, to finish with the PhD, and I don't know if I can suffer through it. However, I would feel like a failure if I left with a master's, and I would have to give up on the dream of being the first doctor in my family. Ooh, that's heavy right there. I'm a black female in a technical field, so I also feel the pressure of representing my entire race. Additionally, my program does not offer a non-thesis master's, so I would still have to do some additional research in order to graduate. My main question is, how do I suck it up essentially and get out of my feelings enough so that I can be productive enough to finish my PhD? Or do you think I should just cut my losses and finish with a master's? I've been very anxious about making the wrong decision and being filled with regret for the rest of my life.
Yikes.
I say go ahead and complete your PhD program and do whatever the hell you want to do after you receive it. That's what I think you should do. Go ahead. You've come quite far to give up to abort mission, at this point. I think that you should go ahead and you see it to completion, and then just take some time while you're doing that, the free time you do have, devoted to really identifying your passion by trying new things, going after just putting yourself in new environments and new situations that require more of you than you normally have to give, and see what you're drawn to. Take that, and that's how you know where you're gonna what direction to take your life in, because once you have your PhD, that's a terminal degree. Like, you're done. So just get it. You've crossed the finish line. You have it. Now you can do whatever the hell you want to do, and you had your PhD. So it's like you've done both.
That's really good advice. Yeah, because, it's similar to, I guess, my experience even with college. Like, I didn't want to be there.
Right.
But I also knew that finishing it, at least I would have that as my backup in case, whatever else I wanted to do didn't pan out. It's kind of nice to just always have options. And, at the part that you mentioned about representing your race, like, I know that is really heavy because you want to be that person. But I wouldn't let that pressure get to you, because who is that really for at the end of the day? It's not so much for you as it is for everyone else that, can have it as bragging rights. And at the end of the day, you're the one that's losing sleep. No one else is losing sleep about you. So I'd focus on what's making you happy. But I agree with Dustin. I would suggest finishing. But if it is something that is like taking its toll on you, maybe you want to take a break. I would why not take a year off to work or travel, or kind of just, sometimes when you step away from the things that are causing you stress, you just need a different perspective on it.
Yes.
And then you go and do something else, and then you realize, wait, I'd so rather go back to that, and sometimes you literally just need to take a step back, because even me with the life I have now, there are times where I get overwhelmed and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do this, but then I think of what else I could be doing, and I realize that I'm actually really blessed. And sometimes my mind just kind of gets into like a funk, and which happens. I think everyone does. Even look at celebrities. How often are they in funks with their awesome lives, and it doesn't matter, I don't know. I just think it's something that happens to everyone, no matter if you're in love with the field or not in love with the field. We all go through periods where we just feel lost and don't even know if we want to do this anymore, which is what happens when you're doing something every day.
Yep.
Your mind just is going to get tired of it at some point.
You're just going to disconnect, and it might be a haze, but it's up to you to
normal.
weather the storm.
Yeah, I say take a break. That would be my suggestion, if you can, because I know this is like a program that's probably expensive and set, with a time frame, but I would suggest taking a break and just kind of gaining a new perspective somewhere. See if that helps.
I think before I would have said something along the lines of, fuck that, be happy. But because it's your PhD and you've gotten right so far. There, you probably can map out your priorities better than I can, right? But you have done school for this long, and maybe it would be easier to say this if you had 9 months left, but 3 years is all you have left. And I know that sounds like a long time, but 3 years from now, you will, like you said, have the dream of being the first doctor in your family.
Right, you have options.
And I know that seems like pressure, but just think about how wonderful that's going to feel. Don't think about how they're going to be disappointed if it doesn't work out, because if it doesn't work out, you have the experience there to make it better, or you can at least say that you tried and move on to what you want to do. But, all this work that you're putting in, I don't want to say that if you walk away, you're going to resent it. You're going to just regret it for the rest of your life. But if you just said you'd feel like a failure for it, then you're setting yourself up for that. So I don't think you should do that to yourself. But like I said, you know your situation better than I do. So really sit down, figure out why you feel so disconnected, and if it really would be a smart decision for you to leave. Like Fran said, take a break maybe.
Go travel if you can.
Maybe after you've taken that break, you can be like, I've been gone too long, so I need to get back into this. Or you can be like,
back
I
for
don't.
The jump off.
Okay. Jump man. Like, you got to get it done.
Right. Yeah, I'd say go travel. Go have an eat, pray, love moment, and then come back and
but if you are
and then come back and it'll tell you if you want to do this or not.
If you are going to have an eat, pray, love moment and you want to take someone with you to help you sort things out, you know where to find me.
Asante's free.
I'm free. I told you I'm trying to get into consulting. So if you need someone to sit there with you and gain that perspective
You are
around the
funny.
world, I'm going with you. All right. So then for the next one, thank you very much for writing in, by the way. I feel like I don't say thank you enough. Sometimes I have a big thank you spiel at the beginning, sometimes at the end. I didn't do one, so I'm just going to say thank you right here in the middle now.
We love you.
All right. So this one is daddy issues. I'm 25 years old. This question is mainly for Fran, but I would love for Destin and Asante to answer as well.
An email with daddy issues for Fran.
Normally I try to skip around.
I'm
but
hurt. No, I'm kidding.
In the second episode, Fran was talking about the relationship with her parents. I remember her talking about accepting that her father wasn't ready to be her father when she was born, and it took a long time for her and her mother's relationship to be right. To start off, my mother was always in my life. She didn't always provide the way she wanted to, but she did her best. She does suffer from depression and doesn't get help for it, and it heavily impacts our relationship. I really feel like things that hurt her in the past, she's still holding on to and doesn't want to open up to me. As for my father, before I was 18, I've seen him 4 times. We don't have the best relationship, so when he calls every other weekend, it's very awkward, and most of the time I pass my son the phone so he can talk to his grandfather. I really want to accept the relationships for what they are, but every time I see a daddy-daughter or mother-daughter relationship, I either get mad or I want to cry. I tried talking to my mom and dad, but all I hear is excuses and blaming each other for the things that hurt me. My question is, how did your relationship with your parents affect your life, and what advice can you give me to handle these relationships?
Well, the relationship with my mom, it just gave me a lot of trust issues, because I sort of felt like if my mom and I couldn't connect, how could I connect with anybody else? That's
Right.
supposed to be like the main person, you know? And so I always had walls up with everyone, pretty much. I kept everyone at a very, very safe distance. Cool with everyone. I've always been like chill and social, but there was a layer that no one ever really got to with me.
Yeah.
You know, that I kept it very surface level for many years. But like I said, what it took for me to hit that wall was to finally open up to someone and just have that collapse. So for me, it had to be like a big breakdown in a way for me to then begin to build compassion for the need to connect with people. Why do we have these walls? That's why I started researching childhood traumas and just understanding why we're all so distant from each other. You know, why everyone's in such a quest for love, but afraid to give it and afraid to take it. And it's just such a weird game that we all play. So that's sort of what, I guess it was my own heartbreak that caused me to start looking inwards and really understanding where mine came from, how I was affecting others, and why I was receiving the kind of love I was receiving, why I was okay with that, why I was okay with the love I was giving, what that said about me, you know, just all these dynamics. So it really is just a study of yourself. You know, we've talked about it before, like shadow work. That's something that's important, just kind of starting to tap into those unconscious thoughts. But I think the best thing that I would suggest, like we've said before, is clearly these are pressure points in your life. And the only way to work on pressure points is to actually begin to press on them. You know, that's really the only way it works. And I would suggest that you sit when you're comfortable, obviously, because it's the only way you'll receive it. But sit with your dad and your mom, because if you're seeing people with their parents and it's making you cry, then you're like hella spilling over, you know, and it's time to kind of like confront that if you want to fix it.
When she says all she hears is like blaming and excuses and stuff, like
when she talks with them. Well, that's interesting, because my mom was the same way. That for a long time we couldn't really connect, but I realized that I also wasn't listening to her. And that's where the disconnect was. I was more so talking to be heard, but not so much talking so that we can actually learn something from each other. And I had to catch that about myself. I was always very quick to be like, and you did, because you did. And that's why, you know, and it's like, it actually got to a point where I was like, okay, Mom, tell me how you feel, why this happened. You know, like, you talk, and I'm really actually going to listen.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't a blame game. It was more of like, listen, dude, like, we got to fix this. So let's talk and see how we can make it work, you know? So that's what I would suggest. Maybe there is a clash because you're not allowing them to speak. Sometimes it could really be that simple.
That's true too. Well, that was a question for you, friend. So we're just gonna go with your expertise on that.
Because it was perfect. I
It
think
was.
you had great advice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sometimes I feel like we should just call this the friend zone. Because even
That's
though,
what it
The
really
friend
is.
zone.
because I be sitting here with y'all, but like I really just be like, damn, friend is just like doing all of it right now.
No.
What can't you do, friend? That should be next week's icebreaker. What can't friend do?
No, but I hope that's helpful because I understand how like painful that can be.
Thank you for your question.
We got time for one more.
Yes. All right. A while back, Fran mentioned that you have to recognize how you're feeling emotionally and accept it. Yesterday, I found out my ex, my first love, is in his second new serious relationship when it seems like I'm collecting fuckboys as a hobby. Unintentionally, my stomach dropped when I heard the news. I haven't really spoke to anyone about it because, one, it's embarrassing because after 2 years, it felt like I had finally let go of the pain and it all came right back up. The combination of listening to your show and actively seeking mental growth, I keep telling myself I'm okay on top of other affirmations. But honestly, I feel a sadness I haven't felt in a while. Can you give me clarification on the situation and how can I feel better?
Well, first of all, I think that you have to remember why you guys are not together. Always reference that. Second of all, this is where you really have to do the work to have closure with yourself before you even bring up the idea of breaking up with your partner. You really have to work through everything because breakups are final. When you're not together, you are no longer in a relationship. And so that other person is free to date, do whatever they want to do, and you sometimes have to be, a spectator of that. And you just have to remind yourself that they are no longer your partner for a reason, and also remind yourself of all the reasons why you enjoyed them, period, and so that you can be happy for them that they found love and moved on. Find a way to look at it from a positive perspective, because the alternative is being miserable and having your feelings crushed, and that's not fun for anybody. So you have to really find a way to have some reverence for the time that you spent together. Find a way to be thankful for some lessons that you learned from the person. Find a way to be grateful for the great things that you got from them and carried with you into your single life. Just find a way to look at the positive aspects of the time that you spent together, and it will make you actually happy that they're happy now, and you'll be able to move on without that weight and that burden, that emotional burden on you.
And maybe because, you had such a good relationship with this person, I'm assuming that's why you can encounter that you are interacting with fuckboys so often. So maybe sit back and examine what you've taken from that first relationship, how it might be affecting you in your future relationships, whether it's people that you don't choose to hang out or be with, or the people that you do choose to be with, and what you're doing to maybe enable them, or what could be exposed and how soon they're exposing shit. Like, it's a whole plethora of things that go into having an ex and really pondering and doing the work over that past relationship. So sit back and do that, and I think that'll probably help as well.
Yeah, and also just because he's in his second serious relationship doesn't mean that it's a good one. You can't really. No, I mean that's the reality. How many times I've been
you do.
I've been in 4-year and 6-year relationships, and no way meant that it was a great one for me. And I'm not saying like to assume that he's in a shitty one to make yourself feel better, but the reality is you might be assuming something that it absolutely isn't.
Right.
And that not saying that so that you can feel better about it, but I'm just saying like that's just the reality of things. I've done that. Most people do that. And if you're collecting fuckboys, because I've been there, that means you need to be alone. That means that there's something in you that needs to be flushed out. And because when I got out of my last serious relationship, I started going through this just like weird phase where I was just collecting worse and worse versions of him. It was just like, whoa, like I thought that was bad, And then what I realized was, okay, none of these people are making me feel better because they're not supposed to. I'm supposed to make me feel better. And until I can do that, no one's going to make me feel better. So that meant being by myself. And when I was comfortable to be by myself, then I realized that the love I was attracting was not because I needed it, but because I wanted it. Yep. And that was the difference.
And it was the love that you deserve.
Absolutely. And then,
Mama
that
D.
was the difference. Mama D.
I deserve
a tooth that'll stay in your damn mouth. That's what you deserve.
Right. In your face.
Well, her tooth doing somersaults out her mouth. and pole vaults out our gums. You know what I'm
Oh my
saying?
God, not pole vault.
So-
She had the Serena Williams of front teeth,
Like Fran said, maybe
hitting it out the park.
maybe
Go
you
ahead.
could use some time alone. Like maybe that would help because I know that whenever I'm not dealing with anybody else for very long periods of time, it puts me in really good headspace. But but I will say that also cripples me because when I don't deal with people for long periods of
Then
time,
you almost want to stay that way.
yeah, you can do whatever you want.
That's
you ain't got to
true.
answer to nobody. You ain't got to pay for nobody's
Your
other shit. You
solitude
just-
start feeling
Oh.
really nice, and
so
it almost takes someone that can make you feel better than you feel when you're alone.
That's right.
And that's rare sometimes because it doesn't even last. You'll be like, all right, I need to be by myself again. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's what I would suggest. I say just take some time out, and just chill. Learn yourself, figure out what went wrong, like Asante said in the last one, what you can bring to the table in the new one, what you cannot bring to the table in the
Right.
new one, because that's a big issue too. And just relax. I think we put so much pressure on love, and it's something that should just come with ease.
I agree.
He didn't miss a beat.
Dustin,
Come with his I agree.
Up on the down. Hey, everybody get up. Yeah, I agree.
Oh my goodness. Wait, Dustin,
What's up?
something's missing.
What's
Something
missing?
is missing.
It is.
Ooh,
Hello.
the devil just might kill you.
I think that because we're talking about finance and what's missing for our lovely listeners is every week I have this moment where I become inspired to reference a gospel or inspirational song of some sort. Now, let me say
Dustin's
this.
the choir director.
Let me say this moving on and
Dustin's
moving
the choir
forward.
director.
I have been quite clear that I do find several different genres of music inspirational. That being said, let the record reflect that sometimes the song of the week, the reference, the research, it may not be
research.
gospel music. It just may be inspirational for some other reason. Now this week we're gonna stick to the script and have a gospel reference.
I thought we were about to have a trap moment.
Well, it's coming.
I was like,
it's coming.
he's
so
rerouting right now.
it's coming, and so
He
I just
is,
wanted to give our listeners a week to get ready because next week we putting a sticker on it, parental advisory.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, but anyway, this week since we're talking about financial literacy, I think that we were gifted with a tour de force of financial literacy music from the great Shirley Caesar
I'm about to
with
get up and walk
her
out.
anthem "No Charge." Now, let me give you a little background about. Let me give you a little bit of background about "No Charge" by Shirley Caesar. Now,
Y'all, Asante put his headphones up and
That's
just
right.
walked out.
that's right. Now, "No Charge" is a great song for so many reasons. For those of you that don't know, "No Charge" by Shirley Caesar is a response from a mother, a single mother at that, to a letter that her child wrote her demanding to be paid for doing, general chores around the house.
What? Is this real?
It's real. The song opens up. It's called, again, "No Charge" by Shirley Caesar. The song opens up with her saying that she read a letter from her son and saying, for taking out the trash, 75 cents. For making my bed up
This
every
is a
morning.
real
This is
song?
real. For making my bed every morning, 25
haven't heard
cents. Right? And it goes on and on.
I'm gonna listen.
And so then Shirley, then launches into this vocal, acrobatic, just performance, essentially, where she says, for the 9 months I carried you growing inside me,
I can't.
no charge. Okay? For the cost of your college, no charge. Okay, so it's really a play on the whole, good versus evil when it comes to financial decisions, and it encourages you to be responsible and prioritize
Y'all, Dustin
your
has a
decision.
serious
He means
That's
He
right.
means it.
So
He
this
means
week's
it.
song of the week comes from the great ASAP Shirley Caesar, and
I'm done.
it does.
ASAP
Yeah,
Shirley.
it does. It comes from ASAP Shirley Caesar, and the song is titled "No Charge." Look that up. Thank you so much, Fran, for reminding me.
I knew we couldn't miss out on that moment. We love you guys.
No charge.
And I
I am
think
so
what
glad
else
that the show
what else
is
can we
ending
talk
right
about?
there.
Mhm.
I'm so glad that the show is ending right there.
No charge. And what else we have free of charge to you, our wonderful listeners,
Oh,
who we
my
thank you
God.
for, is the opportunity to email us in. And hey, you know what? Let's try something new this week. So the email to contact the show for all things, for asking for a friend,
The icebreakers.
For the icebreaker, if you have something that you want to communicate to us about, anything. If you have something you want to holler at the friend zone
Don't
about.
say anything, because don't
legal,
say anything.
Anything legal, and that won't make me get back on this microphone and cuss your ass out. Okay, so don't get crazy.
I'm gonna just start forwarding those emails to you.
You can keep them. So, now, our email address is
no charge.
That's right.
It's the friend zone at loudspeakersnetwork.com.
That's the friend zone at loudspeakersnetwork.com.
Jar.
Sleeve. 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 Stocking. STOKIEG. Stocking.
What's your name, John?
Mr.
BMIS.
Oh, don't do Beloved. I'm out of here. And it's Halloween. Don't play with me.
Oh.
Don't be doing Beloved around Halloween. You already know I can't even watch the Thriller video. You playing with my emotions right now.
By the way, since we didn't do church announcements this week, last but not least, Trilloween is coming up. Get your tickets. They are doing Trilloween in New York City on Friday, and then we're doing Trilloween in DC on that Saturday.
Friday, October 30th, New York City. DC, Saturday, October 31st. Trilloween.
I'm doing 2 costumes.
Yeah.
I already told y'all one of them, but my second one's a secret because it's gonna be so
good.
I can't wait.
Lit.
Hey.
Lit like big.
All right.
Another inspirational song.
No.
Lit like
no.
big by Ray Sugar.
No. You
That's
already
for
did
next week.
ASAP
That's
Caesar.
for next week.
I already allowed you to do ASAP Caesar. We about to go now. Thank you all so very much.
We
Big
love
Shirley.
you guys. See you next week.
Holla.